This evening at 5:20, a blacked-out Range Rover slipped quietly through the gates of Clarence House, and inside sat Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, preparing for his first face-to-face meeting with his father in over 18 months. It was a brief encounter, just under an hour, but already it's being described as significant, not for its length, but for what it might signal, the possibility, however fragile, of reconciliation between King Charles III and his estranged younger son. Let's consider the context. Since 2020, when Harry and Meghan moved to California, the rift between the Duke and the royal family has been deep and public, and from the Oprah interview to the Netflix documentary, from newspaper headlines to the memoir Spare, the accusations have been sharp and the sense of betrayal, particularly for Charles and William, profound. Trust has been the central casualty, and the King has been described by his own confidence as leaving the door open for Harry, but only if discretion is observed. Now the practicalities. This meeting was squeezed into an already crowded diary. The King had flown down from Balmoral, met the Premier of South Australia, awarded an MBE to Holocaust survivor Manfred Goldberg, and presided over a Privy Council, yet space was made for tea with Harry. This in itself is telling. The monarch, still undergoing cancer treatment, recognises the urgency of time. Harry, meanwhile, had cleared his own diary and was prepared to drop everything for the chance of reconciliation. Symbolism matters in monarchy. That the meeting happened at Clarence House, not Windsor, not Balmoral, emphasises the deliberate privacy of the occasion. Neither side briefed officially. Both sides took a vow of silence. After years of leaks, that silence may be the first true test of where the relations can be rebuilt. But this was no family reunion. William was in Cardiff, far removed from the scene. The brothers remained firmly estranged, nor was Meghan present. The issue here was not the healing of the family as a whole, but the possibility of repairing the bond between father and son. Why does it matter? On one level, because reconciliation humanizes the monarchy. For all the gilded ceremony, the King and his son are two men caught in a painful estrangement. On another level, because the future of the monarchy depends on perception. A family endlessly at war with itself undermines the very stability the crown is meant to project. And what of Harry? He has expressed regret for some of his words, admitting that the endless fighting is pointless, and publicly says he wishes for peace. Yet the burden lies with him. The ball is in Harry's court, said one palace source. If this meeting is to mean anything, he must prove that conversations can remain private, that old wounds will not be reopened in a media spectacle. In truth, what we saw yesterday was less reconciliation than overture, or what we saw today was less reconciliation than an overture, an opening act in a play whose ending remains uncertain. For some, it will evoke Shakespeare's King Lear, the father longing for the return of a beloved but estranged child. For others, it is simply a reminder that no matter how high the throne, a family rift cuts as deeply as in any ordinary household. As Harry left Clarence House just before 6:15, rushing to an Invictus Games reception, the smiles were absent, but perhaps that's a good sign. Reconciliation rarely begins with joy, it begins with seriousness, with the recognition that something precious has been lost. So, was this the beginning of a new chapter or a momentary pause in an ongoing feud? That would depend not on cameras or commentators, but on trust. A fragile commodity in the House of Windsor, yet even the briefest tea can hold the possibility of healing. Let's hope so.